this tutorial, we will be covering the Reference Explorer. The Reference Explorer is a repository for standards. The standards can be dragged and dropped to the Domain Explorer for design use. To access the Reference Explorer, you can go to Tools and click Reference Explorer, or you can press F8 on your keyboard. This will open the Reference Explorer on the right side of your screen. Note: Reference Explorer modifications are access right controlled, and not all users will be able to edit the Reference Explorer components. As you see here, we have standards for many different items like panels, where we have junction boxes, marshalling racks, and DCS, and we also have standards for cables. Now, say we need a junction box with 32 terminals and an overall shield. Instead of creating one from scratch, we can use the standard here to create our junction box. To create our junction box, we will left-click hold the junction box and drag it from the Reference Explorer to the Junction Box folder on the Domain Explorer. The Junction Box Properties window will open, and we'll name our junction box FJB001 and click OK. And as you see here, our box has been created, and we can open it to see that we have our junction box with 32 terminals and an overall shield. Now, if we go to the Reference Explorer and see that we don't have a standard for a junction box that we want to create, we can make our own. Let's create a junction box with 2 terminal strips that can both connect 2 12-pair cables with individual and overall shields. This means that we need to create a terminal strip with 37 terminals each. To do this, we'll right-click the Junction Box folder, click New, and click Junction Box Generic. Anything created in the Reference Explorer should have a descriptive name. So let's name this box 2 strips with 36 terminals plus an overall shield. The box has been created, and now we can add terminal strips to our box. We do this by right-clicking, clicking New, and clicking Terminal Strip. We'll click New to make our own configuration name. It's asking us how many terminals we want in our pattern, and we want 3 because each pair of our 12-pair wire will have a black, white, and shield wire. We'll change our configuration name to 36 terminals plus overall shield, and we'll put the same for our description. We'll change the total number of terminals to 37 like we wanted, and our terminal strip will start with being numbered by 1 and have 0 terminals per channel and 0 for our first channel. Note: the channel configuration must remain 0 unless it's being assigned to an I/O card. Next, we'll go to the terminal numbering pattern window. We want to increment the first terminal so our terminals will be numbered in order. So our first pair would be 1 plus, 1 minus, 1s, and the next pair would be 2 plus, 2 minus, and 2s. Next, we want to check off the numbered box for all our terminals. This is so each terminal will have a number going from 1 to 12. And lastly, we can put the plus, minus, and s in the suffix column so we can designate black, white, and shield wires. We'll click Save so we can use this standard in the future if needed, and then we'll click Create to create our terminal strip. We'll name our terminal strip TS1, and our terminal strip has been created in our junction box. One thing I want to point out is that the names of the terminals can be edited. As you see here, we have a terminal named 13 plus when it should be named Overall Shield. To change the name of our terminal, we can right-click the terminal and click Properties and change the name here to OAS for Overall Shield. Now that we have the first terminal strip created, we can duplicate the first one by right-clicking and clicking Duplicate, and then the second terminal strip will be created. Our second terminal strip has been created, and we can confirm it has the same terminals as our terminal strip 1. Now that our junction box and terminal strip have been created, we can left click hold and drag to the junction box folder in the Domain Explorer, and our junction box will be created. We'll name this box FJB002, we'll click OK, and then we'll open our box by right clicking, clicking Actions, and clicking Connections. We now see that we have a junction box with 37 terminals with an overall shield on the first terminal strip and on the second terminal strip.